What's up guys, welcome to the first episode of Replace Your Paycheck. Today we'll be talking about how you can replace your paycheck with ULTY. I made a community post asking you guys what kind of videos you would like to see, and the most voted one was how you guys could replace your paycheck with any income ETF. So I decided to make that video right now and start with ULTY because why not ULTY? It's the most loved ETF at the moment. Everyone is so excited about it, including myself. I wanted to make this video for fun, so let's get into it. First of all, this is not financial advice. This is just me using numbers for fun, just being a nerd with all the maths and seeing like how much you can invest to get how much monthly income and how long. So we'll get into all these numbers. So here's the kind of the structure of the video. I just wanted to do a quick overview of ULTY so you guys can understand a bit how it works if you're new to ULTY. I have other videos that explain in depth how ULTY actually works, but I'll just do a quick overview today. So what's their option strategy? What is actually ULTY? Management fee, all the details. What are the underlyings? Are they even good? The distribution history. So I'll go over all of those distributions and we'll do the math of what's the average, what's the median, the best and the worst, and we'll use those for our forecasts. And then the good stuff is how you can replace your paycheck, how many shares, how long should you drip or should you cash out. For the fund overview, I think we mostly know what it is, but essentially if we go on the section right here which says the overview of the fund, it's an ultra income strategy ETF, active managed ETF that seeks monthly. It's actually weekly income, so they do weekly distributions on a portfolio of covered calls, and they do option strategies on top of these. Direct and indirect exposure to the share price return of their underlying holdings. They're allowed to hold between 15 and 30 securities. So what's special about ULTY aside from having consistent distributions? So let's just look at the distributions quickly. As you can see, 46 cents, and then here they turn weekly. Since they turn weekly, if you just give a quick look like this, we can see that most of the distributions are in the 9 cents. So people have been very content with their investment. They've been very satisfied because it's been very predictable and consistent. The reason why they've been able to pay consistent distributions regardless of the market IV is because of the way the fund works. So let's look at their holdings. These are their top 10 holdings at the moment. They have this Applied Electronic, AppLovin, AST, Coinbase, First Solar, Robinhood, IonQ. They have some AMD, Mara, MSTR, Netflix. They also have Palantir, Reddit. So as you can see, they have a bunch of different cool stuff. So ULTY is not stuck with a set of stocks. They can basically pull in whatever they want. So how ULTY works is that their trading team at YieldMax, they kind of look at the market on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. They see what are the upcoming hot stocks. So for example, they pulled Reddit recently, probably because some earnings are coming or they know something good. They look at the market on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. They scan for some interesting, high volatility, high volume, and high quality stocks. Then they can just milk the IV out of them so they can trade them. And then when they think those stocks are not good anymore or they're not interesting, they can literally boot them out of ULTY, pull in something new that is interesting, trade it, make some money on it. Then when they're done, kick it out, pull something new. And that's how they're able to pay those consistent high distributions week after week. It's a hands-off approach. So you just give them your money and they do all the trading for you. You don't have to spend your day looking at the stock market. They make you money. They take their management fee. Everyone is happy. That is with their holding. And are they good underlyings? Obviously they are. As we saw, they're good quality stocks that they pull in. Just for the numbers, so their net assets is currently 1.4 billion. This is pretty crazy because last week they just passed 1 billion and everyone was excited. And now it's like, oh, okay, 1 billion is nothing. We're almost at 1.5 already. So it's growing very, very fast and it's very exciting for ULTY. The net expense ratio is pretty high. As we saw, they do trade on a daily basis and they do a lot of management. So for all of the work that they're doing and how good they're doing, I think that it's worth to pay that 1.14%. They trade for you and they do so much work. So that's why it is higher than your usual ETF. As we can see, if we give a quick look at the NAV, another reason why ULTY has been so good is that since they switched to weekly and after the market crash, it's been actually recovering and being sideways, with some annuals distribution of around 75 to 80%, pretty much outperforming the S&P by a lot since they switched to weekly. All right, now let's look at the fun part. So here I extracted all of the distributions since ULTY switched to weekly. And as you can see, 10 cents, 9 cents, 8 cents. And basically I also put the opening price right next to it as well as the yield. Just to do a quick explanation. So what I did is I calculated the average distribution right here. This is the median, this is the minimum, and this is the max that we received. So we received one of 11 cents, 11.8 cents. Same thing for the yield. So the average yield is 81%. The median yield is 80%. The minimum that we got was 73, and the max was 101%. Pretty cool. Then for the distributions, I took a conservative distribution. So I took the median, which is more conservative than the average. And then I added a conservative factor on top of it. So I reduced it by 10% for the forecasting that we're going to do so we don't inflate the numbers too much. Same thing for the share price. I took the current share price, which is 6.4, and I added a conservative factor, so I inflated the share price by 5% to make it more expensive. So now using those conservative numbers, we would be using a share price of 6.72 and a distribution of 8.5 cents. Don't worry, I made some other forecasts with some less conservative numbers. So now I made this sheet here. Let me know if you guys want it. I'll send it to you in the comments. I think it's a very, very cool sheet. Kind of forecast your goals. So let's say you have an initial investment of $10,000 and then you have a cash flow. So on top of that, after that, every single month, you'll be adding $500 of your own money. Your goal is to replace a paycheck of $1,000, or maybe that's your car note or that's your mortgage. Let's see how long it would take. So this on the first month, on month 0. So if we look at our table quickly, so this is the month, the starting shares, then the weekly income. Monthly income is going to be weekly income times 52 divided by 12. Then the shares that we bought with drip. So this is the shares that the ULTY distributions would have bought you. And these are the shares that you can buy with your cash flow. So how many shares you can buy with that $500 you invest every single month. Here on the first month, it's going to be 0 because on the first month, let's say you just throw in 10K in ULTY and then you don't have any more money for that month. And then it's the percentage of your paycheck that you cover. And here's the cash flow increase. So this is how much your monthly income is increasing month after month. So if we look here at the month 0, we start with 1488 shares. And then we were able to buy 82 shares with ULTY. And then on the month 3, for example, we make 162 a week, then we make 705 a month. Our drip buys us 104 shares and our cash flow buys us 74 shares. Monthly income increases by $62 a month at the end of that month. And as we can see here, if we start with $10,000 and we invest $500 a month, it would take us 8 months to achieve our goal of replacing our $1,000 paycheck. And then for the sake of it, let's say you want to be more safe and you want to actually make 200% before you start using it and considering replace. So then in case something goes bad, so you want to make at least 2 times your paycheck with ULTY, it would take you 17 months. It does take time, but considering how much money you're generating, it is not that long. Like you have to be patient and good things take time. I wish I could make a video where I had a magic formula where you can replace your paycheck in 3 months, but that would be too good to be true and that would be too easy. Everyone would just throw their money in ULTY and stop working. So now let's say you want to replace a paycheck of $4,000 a month and you put 10K a month and then every month you drop $500. Now let's look how long that would take. So as we can see here, it would take us 28 months. So a bit more than 2 years. So still not that bad, still pretty fast considering you only throw $500 a month into ULTY. And then you can bump it up. Let's say you're able to invest $1,500 a month. Here, instead of taking you 28 months, it would take you 20 months. And then what's cool about that is it would take you 20 months to cover $4,000. From $4,000 to another $4,000. Instead of taking you 20 months, it will take you another 10 months to reach your goal of doubling your income. It takes 20 months, but then as you can see, the power of compounding goes very fast and then it takes half the time to double it. And then from 200%, it takes only 6 months. So it takes even less. And then as you can see, the compounding just goes faster and faster. From 400% to 500%, it takes 5 months. It just goes crazy. And as we can see, like in the beginning, it's very slow and painful and you have to stick to your plan. The compounding of the shares just keeps adding up. And then you get to a point here where your income is increasing $1,000 every single month. So if we look at a forecast with the actuals number, so the actuals means the actual share price right now. So the actual share price is 6.4, the actual median distribution, and then you invest $10,000 a month. You want to replace a paycheck of $4,000. Your monthly cash flow is $500. From there, it would take you, even if we only look at the conservative number or we use the non-conservative one, as you can see, it's not a big difference. For example, you add a cash flow of $1,500, then it's going to be even faster and you're going to be able to replace your paycheck in 16 months. Some of you that you just want to make an extra $500 a month with ULTY. If you want to make $500 a month, you can invest 5K in ULTY and then from there just add like $250 a month. And your goal would be 500. So let's say you just want to pay a few bills with ULTY. It would take you 5 months and that wouldn't be a big investment at the end of the day. I made another sheet which should be very interesting is the forecast with spending. So let's say you're able to reach your goal. Then how is ULTY going to continue to grow if, for example, you spend a small amount or a portion of your distributions? These are with the conservative numbers. So you can plug in whatever you want here if you get a copy of the sheet. Let's say you have an investment of $10,000, then every month you invest $1,000 and your goal is to replace a $3,000 paycheck. Now, if we just look at the forecasts, it will take you 18 months to replace your $3,000 paycheck with those numbers. So a 10K investment and $1,000 a month. So let's say you reach your goal and now you want to start spending 50%. How much is your income going to grow even if you spend 50% and then you just reinvest the other 50%? So since at month 18 you reach your goal, so what happens here if you look at the Excel spreadsheet, is that you will be dripping only half of your income. Since we know that we reach our goal at the month 18, in the spend month here, we can plug in 19 and the spend factor would be 50%. So you can play with the numbers here and we can look how that would affect our growth. What we can see here is that at month 19, we do receive all of our distributions, but we only reinvest 50% of our ULTY distributions back into ULTY, and then we use 50% for ourselves, so we cash out the other 50%. Our income still increased to 24, and then the next month when it rolls over, we do the same thing again, and now our income increases 145. Essentially what we're doing from month 19 all the way to the end of the forecast is that we're dripping only half of the distributions we receive. Even if we only spend 50% of our ULTY distributions as soon as we reach our goal, we're still able to grow and compound our shares, and we're still able to triple our paycheck in 46 months using half of the distributions. This is something cool to see, is that you have to reach your goal, but once you reach your goal, you have to not be scared of using your distributions, and this is something that could be cool to play around. So with 50%, we are still able to grow. Now let's say we put 70%. As you can see, with 70%, it drops even more drastically right here. And if we go at the end of the forecast, it's still increasing and we're still able to reach 244% at the end of the 48-month forecast. And if we go to the spend factor of 0%, for example, if we don't spend anything, we would reach 640%. So we are still stunting a lot of our growth. It really depends on your goal. Like once you reach your goal, you're not worried about compounding as much, and you can actually start using your distribution. So it depends on what you need. Some people, they might need only 20%. And if you use 20%, as you can see, at the end of the forecast, you're still at 488. And from the point where you hit 100%, you're still growing pretty fast by using 20%. I think a lot of people like the 50% number because you're using half of it, you're reinvesting half of it. So it seems like you're using a good portion and not too much. Let me know in the comments what you think should be a good number here. So that was it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. So do I think that you can retire with ULTY? Obviously, yes, but this depends really on the share price. If ULTY keeps doing a good job of holding a stable share price like they've been doing recently, and they keep their consistent distributions, I think that this actual forecast could be possible. Since April, if you've been applying this plan, since the NAV has been stable, it could have been working. Do I think that you can retire with ULTY? Obviously, yes, but that all depends on yield max performance. So as long as the NAV is stable and they keep paying those weekly distributions that are pretty much very consistent, I think that it is possible to retire, and this forecast can actually be true. Is it true? Is it not true? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in the market, and we don't know how, even though ULTY is hedged and they're using collars like I explained, we don't know how they would perform in a very bad market condition. So that's something to take into consideration if you guys want to actually go all in ULTY and use ULTY as a way to replace your paycheck. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. I'll be sharing the spreadsheet somewhere in the comments or in the description. Don't worry about it. So yeah, guys, until next time, take care.